All right, no jokes today. All the social media information in the description. This is episode 15, and this one is all about surviving R. Kelly. Back on the second one that we ever did, if you go back and listen to it, I asked the question. I said, why is R. Kelly getting a pass after Bill Cosby got buried? Fear not, though. In the first episode, we gave Bill Cosby what he deserved. So, if you don't know, which you probably should, it's a whole documentary series out right now on the Lifetime Network, Surviving R. Kelly. All about I'm not going to say women. I'm going to say girls. Let's put this in the perspective of what it was when it was happening. All about the girls that R. Kelly was dealing with and how he was going about dealing with them. I think the only one of them that I saw that was grown when they met him was his wife, the one he had his children with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that she was 19 when he met her, if I'm not mistaken. But every other one in the documentary is 17 or younger, right? So the first thing I want to do before we get into the documentary is bring that same question from the second week of this podcast back around. Why up until this point, and still to some extent right now, is R. Kelly and has R. Kelly been getting a pass?
That's a good question. Why is R. Kelly getting a pass? I think R. Kelly is getting a pass because he has a lot of people who stand behind him, being people who love his music. It's a lot of women who stand behind him, and because I was looking on Twitter before we started the show, and I seen a lot of people up there saying whether him doing what he did or not doing what he did, they were saying they still was gonna like the music or whatever.
I got a story to tell. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I got a story. About 2 years ago, at the end of 2016, I bought a 4K smart TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
4K smart TV come with Netflix preloaded, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I logged into Netflix, you know what I saw?
What?
Fucking advertisement, biggest day. The first thing they showed me was this show called House of Cards, starring Kevin Spacey. That was Netflix, a multi-billion-dollar company, advertising that on their front fucking page, a show that they financed and that they created. It took one fucking allegation all the way from the 80s for Kevin Spacey to be erased from that show, and for Kevin Spacey to be erased from movie roles that he had. They was recasting his characters. And the one movie that did slip through the cracks, no fan supported it. That shit bombed. I think it literally made like a couple $100, if not I think it might have made like $7 or $18 at the box office.
Mm-hmm.
No lie. That means that 1.5 people bought tickets, if that figure is correct. How was R. Kelly, after everybody knowing what they knew about him, putting out #1 records?
You got people who still love the music. You got
people who still love the usual suspects.
I'm not saying R. Kelly deserves a pass for what he has done.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should go to jail because it's wrong. Like, those are underage women. I mean, girls, not women, girls.
They want women. Number one, it's certain things that if you do it, that you're fucking dead to me, no matter who you are and what my relationship with you is. If you are molesting children, which is what he was doing, you fucking dead to me. Even if they consented, a 14-year-old girl cannot consent to a 30-year-old man. Not anywhere in this fucking country.
But then I look at the parents here too. Before we even get into everything else, I look at the parents because first I know he patted them with money.
You talking about the parents of her or the parents of all of them?
All of them. Because if your daughter just randomly call you one day, or you get a call saying, "Oh, they were R. Kelly," why does that not draw a red flag? What? Why? And then when you figure out why, I know money was being thrown.
One woman showed up at his fucking door after her 17-year-old daughter with the cops.
Mm-hmm.
The daughter had been telling her that she was just going to hang out with a friend, and when indeed that friend, that they were friends, they met each other on MySpace. That friend was already indoctrinated into R. Kelly's cult-like atmosphere, and R. Kelly sent her out seeking another girl. Mm-hmm. The mom is at work. She come back. The daughter is gone. The only way she found out is that one of the daughter's other friends called her and said, "She's lying to you. She's with R. Kelly." This woman called R. Kelly phone number, told him stay the fuck away from her daughter. That same woman is the one who showed up to his door with the cops, because after a couple times, her daughter went and never returned home. Her daughter went. I think her daughter, from the preview of the next episode, I think her daughter is one of the ones that they're trying to get away from him right now. Her daughter met him in 2009, right? The cops said in Illinois, 17 is the age of consent. Can't do nothing about it, and just left. This woman didn't even know her child was out there with R. Kelly. And once your child becomes a certain age, you can't watch everything that they do. And then if they up and disappear to some motherfucker with endless resources and hundreds of millions of dollars, and he might not be using that money to pay off the parents. He might be using that money to keep the parents the fuck away from what he's doing. Mm-hmm. Like, it ain't no telling. He got the type of resources that he could have, that you could, if your child is with him, you could know where they are one day, and then within hours, he could have them somewhere that you don't even know where they are.
But then I just want to say, why does money, how can money get you to not figure out what's going on with this situation? Like, you know it's wrong, but as long as he padding your pockets, you fine with it.
We don't know if he padded. I think personally he might have padded, and we're gonna get into it in a minute. He might have padded the pockets of the victim from the sex tapes family and parents, but some of the other ones, from what I was seeing, the way they told their stories, I don't think their parents got shit from him. It's ones that's not in the documentary. They touched on it only a small part in the documentary of lawsuits that R. Kelly had went through, that was civil lawsuits and not criminal, with underage girls, and he did pay his way out of those and had them sign non-disclosure agreements so they could never tell, or else they lose the money. That plays into what you're talking about right there. It ain't no fucking way that you could flash money to me if this was my child and get out of what's coming to you. Because you gonna have two fucking choices. You can either go let the judge handle you, or you can let the fucking funeral director handle you. You can pick. Because if you don't pick within 2 seconds, nigga, I'm picking for you. And, nigga, I guarantee my choice wouldn't be the one that you want. If this is me, you ain't coming with no fucking settlements and no non-disclosure agreements to me.
And then on the actual documentary, the girl from the tape, her family denied it was her and didn't cooperate with the people doing the documentary.
That's the one. That's the ones who I think he definitely paid off, bro. Because that's the only way. That's the only way he was getting out of that. He definitely paid off, and that.
So how is he getting around all these other girls that he was messing with though? How is he just going around? Like, why are people going around the fact that these are multiple girls, underage girls?
Let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you a couple of the stories that they told. How they the Latina woman.
Mm-hmm.
She met him because she just happened to be in the same mall as him at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
She was 17 in Florida. She was at the mall with her friend, and according to her, she said, "I think that's R. Kelly." He happened to hear her say that. He looked at her, and then he sent his bodyguard over to her to get her information from her.
Mm-hmm.
Then used her dream of being a singer, right?
Mm-hmm.
To bring her in to the
cult.
The cult. That's what I'm calling it, the cult. So he wasn't just out here showing up at people's front door saying, "Hey, can I buy your daughter?"
Mm-hmm.
He was having chance encounters with these girls, and they were so mesmerized that they was around some sort of celebrity, especially to the stature of R. Kelly, that some of them was so naive, which when you're that age, we're all naive.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know up from fucking down when we're that age. So some of them were, she in particular, the Latina woman, at that time a girl, was thinking that R. Kelly was her big break.
Yeah.
That he was interested in her.
Because won't he using her? Because she wanted to be a singer, and he was...
He brought her in, and he wanted to be she wanted to be a singer, and he told her how special she was. But almost, according to her, almost immediately after he got down there, he started making sexual advances after he got her enraptured into his fucking world.
Mm-hmm.
According to her, this is from her, she had a miscarriage, got pregnant by him.
Yeah.
Had a miscarriage, and he wrote the song "You Are Not Alone" for Michael Jackson. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
R. Kelly wrote that about her and gave it to Michael Jackson to sing. So that song is supposedly, according to her name is, I can't remember her first name, but her last name is Martinez. I'll call her Miss Martinez. According to Miss Martinez, it's about her. The song "You Are Not Alone" was a song R. Kelly wrote about her, and he just gave it off to Michael Jackson. But the other one, one of the first people, no, she never said that he victimized her, but he victimized one of her friends. She was a 14-year-old backup singer who was singing with him in the early 90s, and he sent her out to find girls, right? She said the first time that she ever saw any acts happen was him having sex in the booth with a 14-year-old friend that she brought into the studio to be another singer, right?
Mm-hmm.
to be another backup singer of his, excuse me. Okay. All the while this is going on, this nigga is becoming a superstar.
And I'm a break you off right there, and I want to say something real quick. So, with the people that was in R. Kelly's life, right, being his wife, you know, and his like entourage of people, when you got victims up here saying that, oh, his wife was at home when we was there.
His wife, bro,
so they say like
this is how he would do it. His wife, according to not just his wife, because it's a video floating around on Twitter, let's get it out there, of his wife on Facebook Live singing and kind of dancing in the car to his music and bragging that R. Kelly is her children's father. And that's already, you know how people is on the fucking internet. That's already being used to kind of discredit some of what she was saying. So let's not go from her word. Bruh, according to Sparkle, the one who is the aunt of the sex tape
lady,
victim,
woman,
the girl, she was 14 in that sex tape.
Okay.
According to Sparkle, she was at R. Kelly's house and his wife had to knock on the fucking door. She wasn't outside. She was in a room. She had to knock on the door, ask him permission. Can she come downstairs and get food? And had to go back up. Couldn't talk to nobody. This nigga lived in a fucking fortress.
Yeah.
His house is in the documentary. He got multiple of them around the country, number one. But he lived in a damn estate. You could keep somebody on one side of his house and they never see the people that's on the other side of his house. He kept these people segmented from each other so they couldn't interact. His wife described a setting on tour where his wife, he met her because she was a backup dancer for him. That's how he met his wife. She described a setting on tour to where the backup dancers couldn't talk to the backup singers, and the singers couldn't talk to the fucking the band, and this person couldn't talk to that person, and they all had to be segmented from each other. The only common thread these people had was everybody answered to him. So that's the way I can see where his wife wouldn't be able to do shit about what he doing. This nigga, he was running that shit with an iron fist. He was running it like a dictatorship to where his wife just wasn't in contact with these people. But go ahead. If you got anything else to say on that.
No, I'm good on that
part of it. But he
are people trying to save face? Like, are they now trying to basically rat R. Kelly out because they see that this is basically gonna go downhill? Are they trying to like save face? I
don't know how it could go downhill, man. It should have went downhill when he was at trial.
Yeah,
but it didn't. He got off.
How?
For whatever reason, he got off. I'm inclined to think now this is not facts. This is me taking a guess. I'm inclined to think that he paid off the family of the girl to deny that was her, right? If they don't have an accuser in that case, they don't have anything, because the one thing that case was hinged on, the fucking linchpin of that case, was the age of the girl. Because even if a woman look underdeveloped and she's 18 years old, they charged him with child porn. Not statutory rape. They charged him with child porn because the way you prove proving child porn is easier than proving statutory rape. Because with the prove child porn, all you got to do is be videotaping sex acts with somebody that's not 18 yet. That's child porn. I done told you about the shit where I saw where a dude got charged with child porn when his 15-year-old girlfriend sent him nude pictures in his phone.
Yeah.
He was 17. He was a childish damn self, but he got charged with child porn for having nude pictures of his 15-year-old girlfriend in his phone. All right? So they tried to hit him with the charge that they knew would stick. You had two major factors as to why I think he got off. One is a fact, and the other one is speculation on my part. The speculation is that the trial in Chicago, where he was on trial for the tape itself, I think he paid off the family, right?
Mm-hmm.
The trial, well, the charges that got brought up against him in Florida, where they raided one of his houses, the cops found pictures, still pictures from the video.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you don't know, having nude pictures on your possession, or on your hard drive or any shit like that of an underage person, man or girl or boy, that's child porn.
Uh-huh.
The fucking officers bungled it because they searched it without a warrant.
Yeah,
they didn't have a warrant, so illegal search and seizure. He got arrested in Florida. All charges dropped because of that.
So basically, he was just in a stroke of luck.
He got,
if that's what you want to call it.
He got lucky, definitely in Florida,
mm-hmm.
and probably, in my opinion, paid off the people in Illinois. Mm-hmm. Let's get to the beginning of this shit. Let's get to the first big red flag that people should have saw about him, and that was his dealings with Aaliyah.
Yeah. Okay. She was 15, wasn't
15 years old. 15 years old. You can look back on shit now with 20/20 vision in hindsight. Aaliyah was the niece of one of R. Kelly's producers. Mm-hmm. That's how he met her. At the age of 12 is when he actually met her.
So, and another thing I'm wondering.
Go ahead.
With people knowing R. Kelly and seeing how he was, especially the people that was close around him, mm-hmm. why are you still bringing your young nieces, daughters?
See, I think that he met Aaliyah around the time that he wasn't yet famous.
Oh, okay.
He met Aaliyah around the time where he was becoming famous. Mm-hmm. So, the first big red, that's why I say the first big red flag that was in the public was her. Mm-hmm. Because the one that the woman on the documentary described when she was 14 and she was a backup singer for his early album, mm-hmm. Born into the 90s. Mm-hmm. And she described a time that she saw him molesting one of her 14-year-old friends that he instructed her to go out and bring back. Mm-hmm. But this is at a time where 12 play ain't out yet.
Yeah.
12 play, bump and grind, sex me, all of that shit is R. Kelly being the R. Kelly that we know today. Mm-hmm. Born into the 90s is R. Kelly getting really his first
break,
start up into the music industry. Let's put it this way. Born into the 90s is the Tupacalypse now of R. Kelly.
Okay.
And
okay, 12 play is the
12
All
play,
Eyes on Me.
12 play ain't the All Eyes on Me. 12 play is the Strictly for My Niggas. That's his big break.
Big break.
With Tupac, of course, we knew of him. We knew of him through Brenda's Got a Baby. Mm-hmm. And Trapped. And If My Homies Call. From Tupacalypse Now. Mm-hmm. Tupac became Tupac when I Get Around came out. on Strictly for My Niggas. R. Kelly, we knew about him from She's Got That Vibe. But R. Kelly became R. Kelly when Bump and Grind came out.
Yeah.
And 12 Play came out and sold 6 million copies just in the U.S. That's what it is. When 12 Play was #1 on the R&B charts for 9 straight weeks. That's when we knew about him.
So, and then I'm wondering, all these people who, before the documentaries came out, they love R. Kelly. They love R. Kelly. You know what I'm talking about. All the people that just love R. Kelly. How come all of a sudden they hate him now? They knew this was going on, but now all of a sudden they hate him.
Bruh, who hates him? You mean fans or people around him?
Fans and people around him.
Bruh.
You got to think about, bruh.
We in a time. We got off track a little bit, but that's okay. That's what we do. We in a time and place of the internet where it's easy to gather up a fucking hate mob.
Yeah.
Or a love mob for something. I'm not going to harp on, not during this conversation, shit to do with other shows that we've done. But it's easy for one person to put a tweet out about how they hate R. Kelly. And for it to get thousands of likes. And nigga, you might have people, I hate to be cynical, but the world is a cynical place. You might have people who don't even really care. But just say, shit, I can get a bunch of likes and retweets if I shit on R. Kelly. Let me post one. You might have that going on. So we don't really know if people are. Let's put it this way. This documentary came out and we see the big army of hatred going on Twitter. Why did his fucking streams increase?
Yeah, they did increase. I saw that on Spotify. And he was trending on Apple Music.
So was people...
I even was listening to Apple Music and just going through listening, like on the little radio joint. And I'm getting R. Kelly 12 Play songs put into my playlist.
So are people really hating him? Or are people just
hating him because it's popular?
Joining the popular trend. Like, you can say what you want to say about me. Go back to fucking week 2 of this, and you'll hear me and my disdain for him back then. And if you knew me before we decided 13 or 14 weeks ago to start talking shit into microphones, any conversation ever had with me about R. Kelly always went the same way. It went this way. Fuck his music and fuck him. That was the long and short of it. But back to this Aaliyah situation. Aaliyah met him at the age of 12. And he was already talking about how special she was. And how he was going to make her the biggest star in the world. Okay? And when we look back upon that, knowing what we know, like I just said, looking back is 20/20 vision. That's what hindsight is, because you can always look back and say what you woulda, shoulda, and coulda done different, or what we woulda, shoulda, and coulda fucking noticed. When you got a 12-year-old girl and a fucking, let me see how old this motherfucker was in 1991 when he met her.
Well, I know when they were.
They married, not when they got married. I'm talking about when they met. When she was 12 is when he met her.
So he was probably like.
He was born in 1967, right? So that's meaning that when he met her, he was already fucking 24 years old. Or either about to be 24 years old, and she was 12.
Because I know when they had their encounter, he was 27 and she was 15.
Yeah. The alleged encounter.
Yeah.
But the shit that I'm talking about ain't alleged. He didn't allegedly marry a 15-year-old girl. He just did. He married a 15-year-old girl. But when the first red flag you saw is him, is how he was already pining over this girl when she was 12 when you first brought her around him. Mm-hmm. He wasn't the fucking superstar yet. He was becoming the superstar. And he went on to produce and write Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. A song by Aaliyah. He produced, I believe. I think R. Kelly was behind the whole album. But the song is Aaliyah trying to get a man who's too old for her to go the full distance with her. Mm-hmm. All right. Look up the single art. Look up the cover art for Age Ain't Nothing But a Number by
I know it. She's in the glasses and the coat, right?
Yeah. With none other than him lurking in the fucking background.
Yeah.
So I asked again when we got all of these red flags before a sex tape or anything came out. I'm not talking about from the perspective of people who were there who knew. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm not talking about from the perspective of the woman who was a backup singer for him, who say that she saw him and Aaliyah having sex on the tour bus when she was 14 or 15 years old. I'm talking about from the perspective of the public. Why was this dude getting a pass from fans, from fucking journalists, from fucking networks, from fucking radio stations? Why was this not being questioned? Why in the BET interview was people laughing and grinning when they asked Aaliyah how old she was, and she said it's a secret in a flirtatious voice? They asked her what the relationship between R. Kelly and her was, and she said he's just my best friend and we're very, very close. What in the fuck kind of friendship can a 15-year-old girl have with a 27-year-old? What do y'all have in common besides that y'all now, because he saw fit that he wanted to bring her into the music industry? Not to say that she couldn't blow up without him. She could have, because Aaliyah, let's be for real, the real person who brought her true talent out was Timbaland, not this motherfucker here. Timbaland is the person who brought Aaliyah's true talent out. Mm-hmm. Right? But not to discredit her at all, to say that she needed him. But he was the one who first brought her into the music industry, right? Why? What do they have in common that he's 27 and she's 15? What kind of friendship can they have? The only thing they had in common was that they both were professional musicians now.
And I'm wondering, like, you got people saying that, I mean, even with this whole Aaliyah situation, you got people saying they were in the room when they got married. They seen them having sexual.
Well, a person who saw him have a sexual encounter with Aaliyah, if it happened, she was recording with him when she was 14, so she wasn't much older than Aaliyah. She was a friend, so she wasn't a grown person, put it that way. So I'm not going, at the point in time where she saw this, the one who came forward and said she saw it, I'm not going to throw responsibility on the shoulders of another teenage girl. But the motherfucking dude who said he was in the room when the marriage happened,
and he forged the papers because Aaliyah was underage.
Yeah, Aaliyah was.
So how is this sliding? Like, I need somebody to explain to me, how is this just? How are they getting around the fact that he married and had sexual intercourse with an underage.
Well, we don't know about the sexual intercourse. We just think it probably happened. But we damn sure got black and white proof of the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
The sexual intercourse is something, even though I believe the woman 100%, we can't state that it's fact.
Yeah. But I'm going to just tell you like this, because this is how I feel.
Yeah.
Everything that all these people saying R. Kelly did, he did it. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Of course. Everything that they saying he did, I damn sure think he did.
And I'm not about to sugarcoat it, even if I do like his music, because it's wrong. But I think everything these women are coming out and saying now, he did it. Whether, and I don't care how nobody else feel about it.
You want me to tell you why, bruh? I think that he did this shit.
What's up?
It's because these women barely know each other, right? Mm-hmm. The way he kept, I don't know if they contacted each other after the fact, but the way that these women are describing the way that he indoctrinated all of them is the fucking same. Mm-hmm. And when you got something like that, when you got a predator or a killer, a serial predator, serial killer, they got something called a fucking MO. That's a Latin term. Modus operandi. You know what that shit means?
Mm-hmm. They do things the same way.
Exactly.
Like Ted. No, because I do research. Yeah. Like Ted Bundy, he would get women by using his charm and looks, and he would go to clubs and get the women, drug them, then bring them back. So that's a MO. He did multiple, the same exact way.
The modus operandi, I believe it translates into something like mode of operation or something like that. I don't speak Latin, but we know what it means. His fucking approach is systematic. He was either indoctrinating people who wanted to be singers, or having chance encounters with a certain girl he just so happened to notice. Right? Who wanted to be, you hear it from all of them, who wanted to be a singer. Or he was indoctrinating people who were super fans of his. You get to a point in the show where he meets a fucking 14-year-old fan that's outside of his fucking trial. And he indoctrinates her into this bullshit. This nigga is a sociopath. When it comes to this shit. How are you outside of a court case where your fucking life is on the line, or at least a big chunk of your life is on the line, for you doing this type of shit, and you indoctrinate and notice another fucking victim right outside of the judicial system? What is the thought process? The thought process of somebody like that is the thought process of somebody that's fucking guilty. Right? That girl who he indoctrinated right outside of the court is the one who ended up bringing the other 17-year-old in, who mother showed up with the police. Right? She alleges that when she's in the household, her and her friend, the only way they could communicate, this is going back to how his wife couldn't stop shit. Her and the girl she brought into the fold, the only way they could communicate was sneaking onto their cell phones. Because he had a strict no cell phone rule. So they had to sneak onto their cell phones and try to coordinate meetups in the house. Say, listen at this shit. She said she used to tell her friend, okay, we gonna meet up. You know how they used to try to meet up?
Yeah.
You ask permission to go to the bathroom at the same time that I ask permission to go to the bathroom. Rewind that one more time. You ask permission. The only permission that you should need to go to the bathroom is your fucking bladder telling you gotta piss. Not asking this dude, can you go use the bathroom?
Mm-hmm.
So they used to try, according to her, to coordinate secret meetups in the house by coordinating the time that they would ask to go to the bathroom. And they used to try to meet up in the same bathroom, and it never worked.
But then look at this.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of off the topic, but John Legend was the only person who wanted to participate in this. The guy, Dream Hampton, who did the documentary, I guess he asked Jay-Z, he asked Mary J. Blige, he asked Lil' Kim, Erykah Badu, Dave Chappelle, and nobody else wanted to touch it.
We gonna get to that. We gonna get to that.
But
we gonna get
and
to
that's
that.
what I'm...
Because I'm not just looking at the fucking fans.
Mm-hmm.
How in the fuck? And I don't care if somebody don't like me for saying this. I don't care. At the same time that this sex tape fucking came out, right? At the same time, I remember when it came out. It came out when I was in middle school,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or I might have been about to go to middle school at that time. Mm-hmm. At the same time that this sex tape came out,
Mm-hmm.
and motherfucker, I don't care what nobody say. You can look at that damn tape as I did when I was younger and know that that's R. Kelly. R. Kelly at one of the court dates, he was brash enough to have the same fucking hairstyle walking into court that he had on the tape.
Yeah.
It wasn't until shit really got rolling downhill that he had braids.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time that this tape came out, why was a collaborative album, Best of Both Worlds, coming out with R. Kelly and Jay-Z? You was cool with that, Jay? You was cool with what you knew this nigga had going on?
But then this falls into the fact where...
Hold on, let me finish.
All right.
Why was, during this whole time, after the tape, not just after hearsay, after the fucking tape, was a second collaborative album with Jay-Z coming out, Unfinished Business, in 2004. Why was during that time Snoop Dogg featuring on songs with R. Kelly? You was cool with that, Snoop? Why was during that time Nick Cannon was having R. Kelly? Nick Cannon, man of the people. Nick Cannon, who hop up on Vlad TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
Giving all type of empowering fucking interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You was cool with that, Nick? You didn't see fit to stop that, what he was doing from having you make the song with him? Gigolo? You didn't see fit, Cassidy, to stop you from making Hotel with R. Kelly? The shit that he was doing? Why was the fucking industry, why was other artists giving this nigga a pass? Why was other artists giving him a pass? But back in that time, being gay in the industry could get you fucking excommunicated. Mm-hmm. You could be being gay with grown ass men. Niggas wouldn't fuck with you back then. I'm not gay, so I'm not out here trying to fight for gay rights. I'm just asking the question. Mm-hmm. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, gay people can do what they want to do as long as they ain't harming nobody else. The same way I see with anybody. You could do what you want to do as long as it ain't putting nobody else in harm. R. Kelly was doing what he wanted to do and putting all type of underage girls in harm, and the whole industry gave him a pass. Go ahead. What was you saying?
I was gonna say, what I think the reason was artists was still making money with R. Kelly. I mean, making music with R. Kelly was because they knew it was gonna make money. They knew, Jay-Z knew, a joint album with R. Kelly was gonna sell. Cassidy knew a song with R. Kelly was gonna sell.
Yeah.
Nick Cannon knew a song with R. Kelly was gonna sell. All of this is for the money. I believe every single thing people have done with R. Kelly, like music wise, like collaborative albums or anything like that, they know R. Kelly's gonna make money regardless. His name is gonna make money regardless.
Think about this though. Think about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back in that time, in the early 2000s, late the early 2000s, bro. If R. Kelly had a gay sex tape with another grown man, none of these motherfuckers would have touched him with a 10-foot pole.
No. He would have had no.
The money be damned. Nobody would have been fucking with him.
Mm-hmm.
If the sex tape would have been a sex tape with him and a grown man, money wouldn't have. No amount of money would have been able to get these niggas to come onto a fucking album with him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not in the world of hip hop. Not in this community. But it was different because these was girls. The past should have been revoked. It ain't the way that this shit was run. You want me to tell you why I don't? This is more speculation. Why I think none of these motherfuckers who knew him wanted to be on the documentary, because them niggas knew what the fuck was going on. Them niggas saw it and looked the other way, in my opinion. All that list of people that you just said didn't want to be in the fucking documentary. Mm-hmm. Shit, why you didn't want to be in it, Dave Chappelle?
Nah.
When it benefited you to joke about it on the Chappelle show, you didn't hesitate doing that.
That was one that I seen when I seen Dave Chappelle's name and he didn't want to comment about it. That I didn't really understand that one, because I've known Dave Chappelle to just
you out here talking hella shit about Trump, justified shit. Like, I mean, I'm far from a Trump supporter. Don't get it twisted. But why with this? Let's fuck that Trump shit. Let's fuck the political shit.
Mm-hmm.
When this nigga when it was funny to make the skit, which, I mean, I never thought this skit was funny.
Mm-hmm.
The P on You shit, the song that he made when he was parodying R. Kelly, I never fucking thought it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Not when I was little or younger or whenever the shit came out, when I was a teenager and it came out. And the Chappelle show was the funniest shit on earth. I never thought then that this shit was funny.
Mm-hmm.
But when it was funny to everybody else and it was benefiting you to have it on your little joke show, your comedy skit show, you put it out there. But when it's time to be serious about it, you don't want to talk about it? John Legend, the only person with nuts? Is he?
I believe so. That's the way it looks. That is exactly the way it looks.
Of course these niggas don't want to get up there in front of somebody who was probably going to ask them, why was you making music with this motherfucker?
Mm-hmm.
Of course Jay-Z don't want to get up there and sit across from somebody who was going to look him in the face and ask him during this time, how could you bring yourself to create the best of both worlds and Unfinished Business albums?
And you know that question was going to come up.
That's what I'm saying. That's why this nigga dodged it. I don't know Erykah Badu history with R. Kelly, so I can't comment on what, but probably the same thing. Somebody was going to ask her, did she know about it?
Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering, what was Dave Chappelle's reason?
I don't care about his reason, tell you the truth. My thing is this. You did it before. You already came out and made a mockery of him.
Mm-hmm.
What you scared of now?
I don't know. That's just crazy to think about.
You ain't never been scared of shit, Dave Chappelle. You came at the KKK. You don't want to talk about R. Kelly?
Didn't he come at Bill Cosby too?
I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, I ain't want to say it.
Hannibal Buress is the one who uncovered that Bill Cosby shit. And I damn sure think that Hannibal Buress would have been right on the front lines of this shit if he knew R. Kelly. If they came to him and he had information, and they came to him, I figure he probably would have done it. He did Bill Cosby. Now, back to R. Kelly and the past he's been getting. Can some of these people who I saw in some of this archive footage standing outside of the courtroom now saying that people was just trying to bring him down, some of these people look theyself in the mirror and realize what fucking morons that they were?
What?
There's people who were standing outside of the courtroom doing news interviews. Leave R. Kelly alone. Black people making us look real fucking stupid. Leave R. Kelly alone. They just want to bring him down. That was not him in the video. Come on, man.
You even got people like that on Twitter as we speak, honestly.
Of course we got people like that on Twitter as we speak. Because in this community, in the community of hip-hop rap, black people of color, not just black people, because let's not boil it, because it was other people of color. Put it that way. A lot of times, my nigga, the thing is, it's not a problem until it's my problem. That's how a lot of us think. See, right now, they looking at it and it's easy to fucking say that. Now, we ain't talking about some retroactive shit. We talking about shit that R. Kelly is still doing. As fucking recent as last year, we saw video footage of indoctrinated looking people sitting around with him, defending him because they look scared for their lives to me.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that that video where his wife was in the car dancing. Yeah. And R. Kelly's new car at that dancing to Happy People.
Yeah.
So parts of her story, I don't believe anything she says, honestly.
Bro, that fucking video right there. Not believe. Shit that she say is provable. You got other people. The story I told you about her having to knock on the door to ask could she come to the bathroom or come eat,
yeah.
She didn't tell that story.
Yeah, she didn't.
Somebody else told it. The fucking story about her being under so much stress from dealing with him that she had a premature baby because the baby, they had to induce her labor because the baby had no heartbeat because her body couldn't sustain it. Shit, what's there not to believe about that? You can go, that's doctor's records right there. That's medical shit. She can't, that shit can be proven wrong easily. If her child wasn't really born premature. She was dancing around being a jackass on social media don't make her not credible to me. That don't
I'm still believing that R. Kelly is still taking care of that family of the girl from the tape.
Yeah, he ain't taking care of his fucking wife. He don't pay child support. Her house is being foreclosed.
Really?
Yeah, she getting threw out.
Dang.
He ain't doing that. He ain't taking care of his fucking wife. They done filed fucking charges and lawsuits against him for child support. So it's a fact that he ain't paying. That he owed back child support. So, and he got a young child because the sex tape shit, he still, during the sex tape trial, that shit didn't start until, the trial didn't really get rolling, I think, until like between 2004 and 2007. So he still got a child. His youngest child, the one who they had induced the labor for, is still under 18. So you still got to pay for that one because she had that one during the trial. And get everything. I think all of these people on this shit is telling the truth. And the only person that ain't been telling the truth is him.
Yeah.
They got non-disclosure agreements, and people who the Chicago Sun-Times was trying to interview who they couldn't interview because, or they couldn't do a real interview with because they done signed non-disclosure agreements after taking payouts from this dude. Mm-hmm. Right? That shit is fact. That's documented. Right?
Yeah.
Let's kind of broaden this conversation out to include other people briefly outside of him, because he's the most prolific and he's, of course, the most famous out of these people. But how did Afrika Bambaataa survive allegedly molesting young boys all the way from the 80s? How did 6ix9ine, Afrika Bambaataa is hearsay, 6ix9ine bullshit is on tape. How did he blow up after the tape?
Yeah.
After the trial? What is it about the rap and hip hop community and R&B community? To me, hip hop is part of R&B, so that's why I'm saying hip hop. R&B is part of hip hop. Excuse me. What is it about this community that has allowed passes to happen to people who do shit like this? When I said earlier that Kevin Spacey got erased immediately, nigga, R. Kelly is still out here, nigga. During the trial where you got footage of him on tape with a 14-year-old girl, he's releasing #1 singles and albums. Mm-hmm. During the trial, he's being featured, or not, maybe not during the trial, but during the time this tape came out, he's being featured on fucking albums from everybody. We're doing collaborative albums with Jay-Z, being featured on songs from artists all throughout the industry of throughout the genre of hip hop and rap, all the way down to doing songs with gospel artists. How the fuck did R. Kelly end up on a fucking Kirk Franklin album in the midst of all this shit?
I mean, if you think about it, he's got I Believe I Can Fly still being played in black churches now.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
so why in this genre of music, in this day and age, in this genre? Because back in the 50s and shit, and they bring this up in the documentary, some of those rock and roll artists, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis, was doing this same shit to a smaller scale, because they was just like marrying underage girls.
Yeah, Elvis did it. He married like a 15-year-old girl.
But that other dude, Jerry Lee Lewis, married his 13-year-old cousin, and according, I don't know the history on him as much, but according to the people in the documentary, spoke his even back in the fucking 50s when he did that, his career crashed and burned. Mm-hmm. Elvis, of course, his career didn't crash and burn. But that's another story for another day. Elvis had a lot of problems, including that. But in this day and age, in this genre, why is it that people are not as concerned? They looking the other way.
Yeah, they look past it if the nigga making music.
How is this nigga out here free being allowed to continue this shit?
But they threw Bill Cosby damn near up under the jail.
As he should be.
Yeah, I'm saying though, but how is R. Kelly still being able to walk free?
I don't want to bring race into it, but man, shit, these girls is black. These girls is Hispanic. These girls is, and not to say that he would have got away with it if he. Not to say that he would have got. I'm not trying to say that if he did a white girl, if it was a white girl involved, that he wouldn't have still got away with it, right? I just think about it like this. I brought up that point because I watched the documentary and I saw a juror say that basically he voted against them because they didn't look credible.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is you talking about, dude? You watching the tape. What you mean they don't look credible? The witnesses, he didn't like the look of them. I didn't believe them. A old, like, Polish man or something.
Mm-hmm.
He had a heavy Eastern European accent. And you watching it, bruh. You watching the tape, dude. Okay, I mean, that's. I just don't know what to say about that. Go ahead.
I mean, for him to say that the women didn't look credible, that sounds very racist to me. I mean, would he have thought a 30-year-old white woman, would she have looked credible?
Bro, I don't know. I mean, I don't think he even was talking about, because the best friend of the girl in the tape was a white girl, and she testified on behalf of the girl from the tape. But I don't even think I think that the victims didn't look credible to him.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And then, it ain't no telling what kind of dealings went down. Sparkle, the one who's the aunt of the girl in the tape, said that R. Kelly's people, this is alleged from her, that R. Kelly's people offered her hundreds of thousands to just have a public sit down with him and say that everything is fine between them.
Mm-hmm.
Just to do that. She
She
said that she turned the money down.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I don't see no footage of this public sit down, so she must have turned the money down. But as we speculate, the palms of that family had to be greased, because during the time of the trial and during the time before and after the sex tape came out with the girl in it, the father of the girl that's in the sex tape is playing bass guitar on R. Kelly's albums.
Mm-hmm.
Before the sex tape, around the release of the sex tape, and during the trial, he's on the albums playing guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of exchange went down between these people
for them to just throw this, like, not even pay attention to it, basically?
This man right here is despicable. R. Kelly is wasted talent.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that, did R. Kelly waste his talent? No. Kelly didn't waste his talent. Talent was wasted by being given to this motherfucker. Because not only did he use his fucking talent to get where he got in the music industry, which I'm fine with that. If you got the talent to have the type of career that R. Kelly had, that right there is fine and dandy. I'm all for you being able to live your dreams. But this talent of his is also what allowed him to cultivate this environment of abuse, molestation, indoctrination.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking this way about him before this fucking show came out.
Yeah.
But when I was conscious enough that when I was a young teenager, maybe whenever this damn tape came out, I was between the ages of 12 and 14 when this tape came out.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw it, to know that, this motherfucker right here is sick. I don't fucking like him.
Not to mention, this was at a young age.
I was young, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
This motherfucker, this shit don't even look natural what happened in that tape. Bro, the girl don't look like she ready to be doing that shit with anybody, let alone a fucking 30-year-old.
And me, I've never seen the video. And
yeah, the video was a little. You was real young when the video came out. Like, you was real young when the video came out.
So this video was showed on TV?
Oh, I went on the internet. I went on Google. You can still go on Google and watch it. The shit is still there. Mm-hmm. You can still Google that shit and watch it. I haven't Googled it and watched it since I was young. But in the documentary, the other girl, because in the version of it I saw, I didn't see him peeing on the girl, but I still saw the girl who got peed on. Mm-hmm. When I looked up the shit, I just saw him with the younger girl for a few minutes. They was full on doing it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't no pee. Like the part that they showed in the documentary where he exchanged the money with her, and then they stopped it right before he started peeing on her. Then I saw the older girl. Mm-hmm. I saw the older girl who said I believe it was the one in the documentary who said she took the tape. She was the one, she was the reason why the tape got leaked. Because she was the one who took it. I saw her. I believe that was her in the video for the majority of the one I saw. But I still saw the 13 or 14-year-old girl in it.
Yeah.
Bruh.
I don't think they got nothing else.
But, the shit is like, R. Kelly has been, he had the environment set up, and every motherfucker who was a grown man or woman around that shit was complicit. To me, he had that environment set up to run like a tight ship where he could get away with what he was doing. Mm-hmm. And he had people around him that help him keep that shit going. Right? Of course, we already discussed that he had a fucking MO. Yeah. He do this shit. He indoctrinated all of these people the same fucking way. By using the allure of him being R. Kelly. Mm-hmm. Whatever part of R. Kelly tapped into their vulnerabilities at the time is what he used. Mm-hmm. Oh, you want to be famous? Okay, I'm R. Kelly. Of course I can blow you up. Look what I did for Aaliyah. Oh, you want to be in my videos? I'm R. Kelly. I'm shooting fucking videos all the time. If I'm not shooting videos for my albums and songs, I'm shooting videos for somebody else. One of the millions of songs I'm featured on. Mm-hmm. Oh, you a fan? Shit, say no more. You can just be around me.
For real.
Don't call them groupies. Groupies ain't fucking 15 years old. Groupies is grown ass 20 and 30-year-old women.
This is crazy.
I'm disgusted by any motherfucker who do shit like this. Bro, any. And I'm disgusted by anybody who complies with it, and I'm disgusted by anybody who will get their palms greased to let the shit go away. Cause it wouldn't be no amount of money you could pay me if like all my sisters is grown now, but not too long ago, a couple of them were still teenagers. It wouldn't be no amount of money that could be paid that would have escaped you, that would have made you be able to escape from death, my nigga. Mm-hmm. It ain't no amount of money that my niece, who's 3 years old at the time of me saying this, got molested by anybody that would be able to escape you from being killed. Mm-hmm. Nigga, period. And then I'll just take whatever punishment is given to me. But you going away from here. Mm-hmm. You won't be around do that shit to nobody else. Like, shit, my nephews either. Nigga.
Yeah.
Brothers either. And I find out.
It's just crazy to really think about this. And people just letting it slide. People have let this slide for this long. When you got footage out and people have been telling you, and you all of a sudden, I mean, you just don't care at this point. Like,
but you touched on one of the major factors.
what, the money?
Two of them: the money and the music.
Yeah, I mean,
and tribalism is a third one, because when you look at the fucking footage of people standing outside of the courtroom, the only thing that was going through their mind is that he ain't guilty because he black. And he black and famous.
mm-hmm.
And the women in the video was black, and to them, they were nobodies.
And now you got people on Twitter. It's a video out here. Drake, I can tell it's a young video. Like Drake when he first came out. Mm-hmm. Drake kisses underage girl, learns she's underage, then kisses her again, but this time feels her breast. So, are people now trying to pull everybody up under the bus, even if you?
Bro, that's the age, bro. That's the age. You might have. You ain't no telling what the motive. When we on Twitter, bro. We one of the few people on Twitter that put our voice to shit.
Mm-hmm.
We might not have millions of subscribers or listeners, but nigga, if somebody want to go out there and find out what we really on about, they can come listen to what we say.
And if y'all want to see that, and if y'all want to see that Drake video, I just put it on the Twitter, Recovery Room POD.
Yeah, but
it is now being taken down.
Yeah, get that shit off our shit before they try to take our whole shit down. Anyway, like, hold on. Let's just delete this tweet.
Yeah.
That shit out of here. It's gone.
Let's delete it.
Yeah, but the thing about it is this: you never know what the motivation behind a person that's posting something like that. They might be a R. Kelly fan just trying to get the heat off of him and put it on somebody else. They might be part of that Twitter hate mob and just saying, or not hate mob. They might be seeing that Twitter explosion that's happening around R. Kelly and trying to make the same thing happen around Drake on their behalf.
Mm-hmm.
You never know, right? You never know with the fucking internet, bro. The internet is full of people who is just chasing fame, and fame to some people is 1,000 retweets,
mm-hmm.
right? So, but I'm not sitting up here trying to excuse Drake, nigga. I don't any of these niggas who doing shit like this are guilty to me. Any of them. But R. Kelly had a whole fucking harem of girls. Let's not call it a harem, because harem is people who walked up into this shit and was willing and able, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they want to just be a part of a group. This nigga had a whole fucking cult. And still got it. He still got it. Just with new members.
Yeah. That's
what it is. To me, this whole shit is encapsulated. Is encapsulated in one thing that he did. Encapsulates and should stop anybody from giving him any excuses.
Yep, and this is actually new.
What's
like
that?
Brand new. You got XXL Magazine putting this Drake stuff out. You got Hot News Hip Hop putting it out. People that are actually verified.
Yeah, let them put it out. Shit. Like I said, any of these motherfuckers is guilty. I'll give nobody a pass for this shit.
Mm-hmm. And then you got Drake from 2016. If she's 16, I'm 16. He tweeted that out. So now
it's a can of worms opening then.
Yeah, like this is crazy.
Yeah, it is. But and again,
but now this is what we got to look at.
Mm-hmm.
You know Drake is gonna drop an album soon.
Yeah.
Is that going? Is
this gonna album?
Is this gonna affect his numbers?
That album gonna sell 1 million copies in the first week, just like the last 2 or 3 that he dropped did. That shit ain't gonna affect a damn thing. Because, like I said, it ain't in our community, in the hip hop community, people of color community. A lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Not every time, because people did get behind causes when cops start killing people.
Mm-hmm.
Or not when cops start killing people, but when it was becoming more into the public eye that cops are killing people. People did get behind those causes. But a lot of times, it's not a problem until it's my problem. It's the mentality.
So,
if one of these people, if their daughter, niece, sister, cousin, anything like that get indoctrinated and enraptured into this shit, what's gonna be a problem then to them? But I don't know if they gonna stop listening to fucking R. Kelly's music. If that don't happen, or supporting him, they bumping the shit. I just can't find now bit of this shit funny. That's why I didn't find the Dave Chappelle shit funny, and that's why I don't find niggas posting fucking Twitter jokes that some everybody on Twitter hating R. Kelly. This is me, and got a video of them dancing around to some of his whack ass fucking music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't find none of this shit funny. Niggas won't find it funny either. If R. Kelly get his hooks into one of they close ones. Then you will be trying to figure out how you can get through his web of shit.
So I'm wondering, with this new video of Drake coming out, is he gonna get the same? Is he gonna get the same pass as R. Kelly, or is more gonna come out?
Bruh, it ain't no telling. But right now, Drake is as big an artist now as R. Kelly was then.
Yeah.
Like, time will have to tell.
Mm-hmm.
But believe me, if more shit come out about him, that he was doing the type of shit that R. Kelly was doing, I'll be up here throwing fire and brimstone on that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else might be giving him a pass, but this nigga here won't. Like,
in conclusion, for me, everything they said R. Kelly did, I think he did it. It's no question about it. It's no question about it. I don't care what he says. I don't care what his wife says. I don't care what the people in his entourage say. He did it. And he should be penalized for it. But now it's to the point where it's too late, really. Because he got to quit it.
He got to quit it for the sex tape.
Yeah.
But shit, it's another little charge out there called statutory rape.
Yeah.
Everything that this whole situation is encapsulated by one thing, though, getting back to what I was about to say.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, when he was in the interview with Torre, the man looked him straight in the fucking face and asked him, "Do you like teenage girls?"
Mm-hmm.
And the nigga response was, "What do you mean by teenaged?" Nigga. Ages with teen in the fucking name, nigga. Oh, do you mean like 19? I have some 19-year-old friends. But no, I don't like anybody illegal, if that's what you... Yeah, that's what he was asking, nigga. That's what he was asking. How did it take you that long to say no?
Mm-hmm.
When you start beating around the bush like that and you can't get straight to the heart of the fucking matter, nigga, the court might not have found you guilty, nigga. Your fucking mindless drones of fans might not think you guilty, but people with sense know the deal. And that's all we got to say about him.